up, y'all? I wanted to do a mini get ready with me, kind of get to know me, random facts. So I think I've done one previously, but I don't think I went really into detail. So yeah, so I want to do that today, like a little mini get ready and some facts about me that I'm pretty sure y'all don't know. So yeah, if you don't know, I'm an Aquarius. I'm actually a January Aquarius, and I feel like I am like an extroverted introvert. Like in the right circumstances, I definitely am an extrovert, but it's very, very circumstantial. Like when I feel overstimulated, it's really, really hard for me to have a good time. And that's something that I'm trying to get out of. Like, I'm trying to get out of like, oh, that's just me, that's just how I am. You know, I'm trying to get out of that vibe and more like, okay, I can handle any situation, I can have fun in any circumstance. Cause I love to have fun, and I feel like I let some things stop me from having fun or enjoying life. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do better with that. Oh, also, I forgot to tell y'all the products that I'm using. I'm actually using my boo. I'm using his skincare routine because I left mine at home because I was hoping that he would bring his. So, but yeah. So I use this Anula 70% Birch 70 Moisture Boosting Toner. And I've used this stuff before and they work really, really well. Like I feel like I feel really moisturized, really young, really glowy. I don't know, I just think it does it for you, girl. And then I ended up using my Torden Dive In Serum. I don't know what low molecular means, I have no idea, but I know that this is hyaluronic acid. Oops. So yeah, that's what I'm using. And then I'm gonna use this Round Lab. I don't know, the rest is in like Korean. I wouldn't be able to tell you, I have no idea, but I know that this feels really good on my skin. And then that's what it says. So yeah, I used it last night and I feel like my skin was still very moisturized even till this morning when I woke up. So I was born in East St. Louis, Illinois. I was born in a hospital that is no longer. I was born in Touche Hospital. I'm a 90s baby. And I feel blessed because I'm dead smack in the middle of the 90s because I'm a 95 baby. And I love that cream. Okay, so this skincare cream, it's really lightweight, but it also feels kind of heavy. I don't know how to explain it. Like it feels very moisturizing, but you can definitely tell that it'll last all day. And it's not gonna leave your skin feeling any dry at any point during the day. I don't know how to explain it. But it doesn't feel heavy to the point where it feels too much on your skin. But I will say this, I am an oily skin girl. And so sometimes because this honestly does feel like it has a little oil in it. I don't know, it does feel like an oil. I probably would feel more comfortable using this in the wintertime, in the fall. Yeah, because this does feel slightly heavy, but it doesn't feel like uncomfortable heavy. And then I'm gonna use I have this stick that I got because I did a collab with a brand. So this is a Beeb, girl child. The letters are all off of this. But if y'all know what the shape of this is actually a Beeb. So if you're familiar with this product, this is what it looks like. It looks like a deodorant stick, but it's actually a roll-on sunscreen. I actually really like this. I know some people have put this on top of their makeup. I'm scared of doing that, okay? I'm scared of doing that. So it goes underneath for me. And it glides on really well. I don't know how sanitary this is, if I be honest. Because when I saw the girl put it on top of her makeup, I was wondering like, how sanitary is that if you've been wearing makeup all day and you decide to put this on? But I don't know if she did this freshly after putting her makeup on. She didn't show. I'm gonna use that and then I'm gonna do a little makeup. I'm gonna keep it light because right now I'm in Louisiana. And it's very hot already. Like it's still early in the day and it's hot as hell. It is hot. But yeah, your girl is from East St. Louis, Illinois. If I y'all, so I grew up in East St. Louis up until I was about 9 or 10 years old, and then my mom, she wanted to move to Fairview Heights. So if you're not familiar, it's still in the St. Louis area, but it's more like a suburb of the area, kind of, sort of, somewhat. It's not in Missouri, because St. Louis is in Missouri. Because when I say East St. Louis, people are like, oh, you're from St. Louis, and I have to clarify because I'm from East St. Louis, which is in Illinois. But we were still on the east side, aka East St. Louis, and we ended up moving to Fairview Heights, Illinois. My mom ended up buying a house. Shout out to her for moving us. Growing up in East St. Louis, a lot of things had changed in the city. From what I'm used to, it was like a nice library. I feel like I still had a little bit of structure, you know? But by the time that we decided to move, like my mom wanted to move, it was one of those situations to where the city was changing and it just wasn't the best, you know? As far as like education goes, the environment. And so, you know, I'm glad that she decided to move when she did, just because Fairview Heights was a little bit better and I was able to go to, you know, like a more updated school and be more exposed. I'm not gonna lie, as a black person, I did not grow up knowing a whole lot of white folks. I didn't know a whole lot of others, okay? I didn't. I grew up around all black folks, and so that was definitely a change for me because I went to a more mixed school. I take that back. The first school that I ended up going to was more of like a PWI. And it was different. It was definitely a lot different than what I'm used to, that I was used to at the time, like growing up. But I'm glad that my mom moved because it was like the exposure, you know, to different people. I was in dance classes up until I was about 10 years old, I think, and I love dancing. Like, I fell in love with dancing. So I went to SIUE, Southern Illinois, and they had a dance program for the kids. I don't know if they still have that program, but that's the one that I ended up doing. I did that for years, and let me see if y'all can see me better. I feel like that's better. But I went to dance school, and that was one of the best times of my life because I love to dance. That was when I discovered that I really like to dance. So the program that I was in, they did West African, hip hop, jazz, ballet, and tap dancing. And it was a really great experience. It was actually a really great program. I can't remember why I could no longer do dance classes, but that was honestly that was like a spiraling moment for me because that was probably one of the only things that I really did outside of school that I enjoyed. And I really wish I had the opportunity to do more, but my mom, you know, she's a single mom, and so it was one of those things that like something had to give, and it was just unfortunate that one of them was my dance classes. I was really sad about that because as a person that doesn't have kids yet, I wholeheartedly understand why it's important for kids to have stuff to do outside of school, keep them busy. The moment that I wasn't busy anymore, let me tell you something, I was always into something. And to be fair, it honestly wasn't really because I wasn't busy. It was a multitude of things. It was like a couple of things. So like, my mom was real strict on me. And so when it came to like spending time with my friends or like going on vacation and stuff like that, I was not doing that. Like, we weren't going on vacation. I didn't have an after school program. It was literally just school, work, or not school, work, school and home, home, school, school, home. So I had a very boring childhood for a little bit. So boredom equals curiosity as a kid. So I completely understand why kids start to act out, because when you got too much time on your hands, and I feel like adults do that too. I definitely feel like I ended up being a very sneaky child, because like my mama, listen, I love her, but this is my truth. I did a lot of stuff that I had no business doing, but to be fair, I was bored, I was in the house, I couldn't do shit. Okay, I couldn't do a damn thing but be at home, especially during the summertime. Horrible combination. Nothing but time. And that was when I really realized, like, you know, I don't know, just wanted to get my hand on anything because I was just bored. I literally was just bored. That's all it was. So if I would have stayed busy, like if I had something to look forward to outside of school, I totally would have. And dancing was really fun. I made a lot of friends. I met a lot of people. Dancing was good. You know, I got to hang out with a lot of kids during the summertime. I didn't have a boring summer, and it was doing something that I really like to do. I'm not gonna do a full face because it is hot here. I'm just gonna do a little bit. I got a little concealer. I think that's it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I grew up with just me and my mom, but I do have 8 other siblings. I have 8. I feel bad because I don't remember. Oh my God, I had to really think about it. I have 7 siblings. I have 7. Yeah, I got 7. None of us grew up in the same household. We're actually pretty far apart in age. So I have an older sister, and then after her is me. We're 7 years apart. And then after that, I can't remember the age gap. I want to say my brother after me, he's 21. I think he's 21. And then after that, 18, 16, and 16. Oh my God, I think I'm messing up the ages. But yeah, none of us grew up in the same household together. None of us really actually grew up together because we were all pretty much in different age groups. So it was definitely different. Like by the time I became an adult, some of my siblings were pretty much majority of them were still kids. So like we really didn't have anything in common, especially because we didn't grow up in the same household, you know. It would have definitely been different if we grew up in like the same house. Let me see if y'all can see me better. So none of me and my siblings grew up in the same household. And since we're all very much so different in age, like it was very, I feel like we were very distant, but no fault of our own. It was more of like, we all have different moms. We all grew up differently. Nobody really encouraged us to all stay in contact. So to be fair, since we were kids, it was kind of one of those things where, you know, we had no control over that. But yeah, I have definitely built relationships with my siblings, some of them. And I do have a little sister that does not do very well with talking, building relationships. I'm not really sure what she has going on, but I definitely pray for her because I know she, from my understanding, she does have like some severe anxiety, and that prevents her from building relationships with other people or even encountering other people. Like she really struggles with that, even with people that she's familiar with. So I hope one day that we're able to, you know, help get her out of that. I'm not really sure what has transpired to get her to that point. But yeah, and she does have a brother. Well, I mean, we have the same brother, but they share mom and dad, the same mom and dad. And so, you know, obviously they grew up in the same house because they had the same mom. And I'm not really sure, like they're vastly different. Like my brother, he's actually in the military and he likes to travel, you know, because of his job, because he's in the military, and she's polar opposite. And so I'm not really sure what has happened, what has transpired. Maybe that's just something that like she's always been, you know. But yeah, that really sucks because she's so young, y'all. She's so young. So yeah. Fun fact, I am actually the only grandchild. Technically, I'm kind of not, because my aunt, she got married and she has 5 stepkids. So technically I'm not. But to be fair, by blood, I am the only grandchild. So I love it for me. It's kind of cool. When I was about 25, I think I was 25, when I moved to Texas, and that was probably one of the scariest things that I experienced, but also one of the best decisions that I ever made. I feel like because I moved, my favorite foods have changed so much. Like, I have been more into Mexican, and I think that's just because I'm in Texas, you know, and I love Mexican food. But there's so many different restaurants here. Well, not here, but in Dallas. So much culture. Like, you would not be able to visit all the good hot spots, even if you went out every single day. Like, it's a new restaurant every week, y'all. Like, it's always a new spot. It's always something to do. And I love where I live, because I feel like even just where I live, like, I don't have to go anywhere, which is kind of cool because we kind of have everything there. But of course, I still try to explore the city, because why not? I live in it. Oh, my favorite color has changed too. So I love red. Red used to be like my top favorite color. Now it's between red and yellow. I love yellow. Yellow is such a pretty color. And pink, y'all, pink. So those are like my top three. I don't know, I feel like a lot of women have had that stage where they hate pink, and I feel like that was me for a while. But now I feel like such a girl. I love pink. Pink and yellow. It's like my top two. I don't know why those colors make me so happy, but they just do. I've only been out the country once. Technically, I've been out the country twice, if the same trip counts, because I went on a cruise for my birthday this year and went to Mexico and the Bahamas, which is kind of cool. And so, actually, you know what, it does count. So I've been out the country twice, but it was on the same trip because it was on a cruise. So I feel like it counts. I feel like it counts. But I actually want to plan like a resort type thing. I would love to do something next year. My dream is to go to Japan. I really want to go to Japan. Don't ask me why. I've been wanting to go to Japan for a while. And I have a cousin, a little cousin, that is deployed. She's in Japan right now. So I think that that would be great to go see her. That would be cool. I would see my cousin in a different country. I think that would be really nice. I think that would be kind of cool. I really don't know what to do with my lips. I think I'm just gonna do just regular, I don't know. So far, out of all the cities that I've visited, I honestly would say that Miami has been one of my favorite cities to visit so far. I don't know what it is about Miami and why I like it so much, but when I went, I really, really enjoyed myself. So I went to this day spa, and I can't remember the name of it, but you can be there all day. They do not give you a time limit. You pay for the spa. Now, if you stay in the hotel, then I think the price is obviously different, or I don't know if it's included. I have no idea, but I know we had got a day pass for the day spa, and it was great. So you get the ocean, the beach access, which is actually really nice, like the private beach access. And then you can go back and forth between the spa area and the beach. So there was no time limit. There was no limit to like which one you can enjoy. You gotta do one or the other. No, it was literally all day you could be there. We were there for maybe 4 hours. We didn't stay all day, because I think after a while it was just so like, I'm not gonna say boring, but you know how you just ready to get up and start moving? It was just one of those. You just ready to start, you know, getting your day going. I almost forgot, and honestly, I never really talk about this, and I don't even know why. Like, I have no reason why I don't talk about it. But I ended up losing about 30 pounds, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And what's funny is I was in a situation, like a bad situation, to where the person that I was with was really heavy on like weight loss and fitness and wanting their partner to look a certain way. And so it's so funny because the whole time that I was in that relationship, like, I didn't lose a pound, like, at all. I didn't lose a pound. But afterwards, and it wasn't like immediately after, it was one of those things that after a while, once I started realizing like, okay, I do want to live a healthier life, because I've noticed when I would go out of town or when I would hang out with my girls, I was always eating not so good stuff, and I knew nothing about portion control. I knew nothing about nutrition. I knew nothing. And so I feel like I finally got a handle on it. But yeah, I ended up losing about 30 pounds because I had gotten kind of heavy. So here's the thing. It was one of those things that, like, technically I was obese, but because my body is still, like, I still had a nice shape, I didn't really consider myself that. But when I look at my old pictures, I'm like, your girl was full. Your girl was full. I didn't like being so young and so out of shape. I used to be very active as a kid, like the dancing, running track, playing basketball. Like, I was very active. Like, I was always moving, especially with the dance. That was great, like dancing all the time. And so obviously, so that first year when I went to college, by the way, I got my degree in sociology. So another fun fact, I got my degree in my bachelor's degree in sociology. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, but yeah, that's what I got my degree in. But anyway, so I noticed that, like, every time I would go out, I would get like a margarita or what is it, a Bahama Mama, or like those heavy alcoholic drinks, and like I was eating cheeseburgers and cheese fries and everything with cheese and like all these fatty foods. And then I slowly started to introduce healthier habits into my life. It was a very gradual change that happened when it came to like fitness. Like, you know how some people, they just wake up one day and they're like, okay, cut cold turkey, like they're tired of living that way. Mine was very, very gradual. So I want to say it took me like a good 2 to 3 years to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm really starting to understand fitness and nutrition. Like, it's making sense to me now, you know? But that wasn't always the case. And at first it went from ordering the drinks every time I went out. Then it was, okay, I'm just gonna order a water with lemon, okay? Or I'll eat half my meal instead of the whole thing. I would go walking twice a week instead of not walking at all. Or when I was, at the time, like when I decided to start making changes, I was working at a bank. And so whenever we had downtime, whenever we had a lot of time in the bank and we didn't have any clients, I would just walk around in the lobby for a few minutes until the next client came, and that really helped too. But it was definitely small changes. I think a lot of people definitely go through that stage where they feel like they have to starve themselves to lose weight. I absolutely did that at first until I decided, like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on doing small changes. I understand the frustration of wanting to lose weight and get healthier, but one of the biggest things that I've learned is that it's a lifestyle change, y'all. The same way you got to where you are is just do the opposite of that. So for example, you didn't just wake up just started eating the amount of food that you're eating now, or like not working out, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things that like you kind of gradually start to do. You gradually start to gain the weight. You gradually start to adopt unhealthy habits, like lifestyle habits. So I kind of took that concept and did the same thing with the losing weight. So at first I was trying the whole starve myself thing, overworking out, burning myself out, and yes, it did shed the weight, but it was definitely not longevity at all. It wasn't realistic whatsoever. I said I wasn't gonna do a full face, and look at me. Literally the only thing that I did not use was my foundation. And it still looks like I have a full face on, because I think I just about did a full face. But yeah, so, you know, start off with water instead of drinking soda and juice and all the sugary drinks. Start off slow, because it's gonna take a little time for you to adopt healthier habits. That's what helped me. And also another trick that I've learned, and I wouldn't say it's really a trick because it's not, but another thing that I learned too is, like, as long as you eat enough protein and fiber, it kind of will carry you throughout the day where you're not craving all that food all day. Everybody wants to say, oh, eat your protein, but also eat your fiber too, because what goes in must come out. So just a heads up. So for me, for example, a realistic meal for me is about at least 30 grams of protein, at least. I prefer to aim for about 35 to 40, but if I can get 30 grams of protein at least, then it does usually carry me to about lunchtime. I am snacking way less, y'all. Like, I don't snack as much as I used to, not even close. And then also too, when you do snack, try to snack on something that does have a decent amount of protein that can carry you to your next meal. So for example, eat like beef jerky or a little cheese and like some grapes to have like a little fiber, or like a little piece of melon and some turkey sausage. Something to where it has the protein, and then you pair it with something that has fiber in it. So that way you are getting the protein, and then the fiber does help stick to you as well. It kind of helps you to feel satiated longer, but it also gets rid of what's going in. So I don't know if that was helpful to anybody, but I know it was really helpful to me, and I feel like it finally clicked and it just made sense to me now. But yeah, it's weird because I never really talk about my weight loss. I'm not gonna say I'm embarrassed by it, because I'm really not, but it's just weird because it's like I just lost the weight and that was it. Like, I never really talked about it like that. It's weird. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not ashamed of it though. I love scary movies. I absolutely love scary movies. One of my favorite scary movies of all time is My Bloody Valentine, and not the original, not the classic one. I like the newer one because of how gory it was, how like more, I don't know, I just love it. My Bloody Valentine, The Nun. I don't really like the Poltergeist like that. What's the one with Ed and something Lorraine Warren? What are those? I forgot those. I forgot what those are called. It's like a series. It's like a franchise now. But those, I love those. The Nun, My Bloody Valentine. There's another scary movie that I like too. I can't think of. I know a lot of people said that they were really scared of the Candyman, but honestly, when I watched it, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. But I will say this. For the time that it was released, like either in the late 80s or the early 90s, I can't remember. I feel like that movie was so far ahead of its time. That's why people were so afraid of it for so long, you know? And it was a really great movie. So I see why people are afraid of the Candyman. It just makes sense. Another fun fact is I used to play the piano, and I was actually really good at it. I wanted to play for my church, but I feel like my social anxiety at the time got the best of me, and like I did not take that opportunity, because that would have been some good money, y'all. Do y'all know how much they be paying some of these musicians for like churches and stuff? That would have been a really good job for me. That would have been a great job. Because at the time when I was learning how to play the piano, I was about 16, 15. No, I was like 14-ish. That would have been a great, like I would have been great at it. Don't ask me why I didn't take the opportunity. I have no idea. But yeah. Oh, and your girl can sing. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know. The thought of singing, it makes me so nervous. I have no idea why. I don't really like to claim that I have anxiety, because it's really not that. I don't know. I'm such a perfectionist that it's like, if I don't sound perfect, then I don't want you to hear me sing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you to hear me. Is it bad that I don't know my ancestry? I really want to do one of those DNA tests to find out my history, because I feel like I don't really have those conversations. Like, I've just now started to have those talks with like my grandma, like asking her stuff like about how she grew up. And my great grandmother, I never met her. She passed away before I was born. I think she passed away some years before I was born, actually. I think she died in the 80s. And so like sometimes I'll ask my grandma questions about her and just how she grew up, because she has a lot of siblings. All of them are still living, thank you God, you know, for her. You know, I'm glad that like all her siblings are still here with us, except for one. One passed away when I was 16, but I believe there's 7 of them. But sometimes I'll have these talks with my grandma about like how she grew up, because I've never really had those conversations with her. So I started, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago, having those talks with her about her childhood and history, and you know, because I used to go to Alabama all the time with my grandma, and I knew that that's where they were. That's where they're from, Lisbon, Alabama. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know what Lisbon is, because Lisbon is very much so a small town, very, very small. So it's about an hour south of Meridian, Mississippi. But I've always wanted to ask her, like, how did y'all even end up in Alabama? And then how did my grandma, because the only one of them, like all of my grandma's siblings that ended up in Illinois, was my grandma and my aunt, and the rest of them stayed in Alabama. And so I always thought that that was like really interesting. But then I thought about it. My granddad, his family was from East St. Louis, so that's how I ended up being born in East St. Louis, because my granddad's family was from East St. Woods. Now, I'm not really sure of their heritage, like where they're from, but I know that my grandmother's side of the family, they were born and raised in Alabama. I actually thought about owning a home in Meridian, Mississippi. I would love to own property in Meridian and buy a house in Lisbon. There's literally nothing there, y'all. And then the price of housing is pretty cheap compared to where I am, like in Texas, in Dallas. But there's like, would it make sense for me to do that? But I just thought that that would be really cool to own property there. I don't know. I just think it would be really cool. Yeah. But right now I am actually in Louisiana. So one of my aunts, she ended up she married, no, I can't. So my aunt, one of my aunts, my great aunts, she was in the military and she ended up getting married, and she was actually in Germany for a really long time, and she actually moved to to Louisiana. So that's who I'm gonna go see, because she retired. Congratulations to you, girl. But my aunt, she's retired now. She's a retired nurse, and my girl has worked so hard. My girl has worked so hard. So she's finally get to rest and relax, and I'm really happy for her for that. You know, like to retire. You know, like she's a very successful woman, so I'm really proud of her, really happy for her. So that's who we're gonna go celebrate. And y'all see the makeup? I kept it really cute, really simple. I didn't want to do too much, not too much. I think it looks good. Oh, I really like my face. I think it looks really nice. But yeah, but I love y'all so much. Don't forget to subscribe to your girl channel. Click that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow your girl on Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade at LoveVeeTalks. And if you want to collab with your girl or promo, LoveVeeTalks@gmail.com. I love y'all so much. Bye.